Everyone knows everything about homes except what's most important: homes that make us happy. Some may think the idea of homes that make us happy is shallow. Others understand the impact of homes on us and the community is profound. Still, everyone knows everything about homes. And why shouldn't we? You're an expert, I'm an expert, MLS is online. We have DCAD, GPS, Google Earth, and don't forget drones for those hard-to-get invasive images. But it hasn't always been so easy. Some years ago, there were only a few experts, and I was one of them. Not that I necessarily knew anything about homes, but I was part of an exclusive society of credentialed experts called realtors. We held the keys to the kingdom. Now, we really held the keys to the property, the keys to the information. How else were you going to get a peek inside? I'm going to tell you a secret. You might remember MLS books, those telephone-style books with grainy images and tiny print on bad paper. They were delivered under the cover of darkness every 2 weeks to realtors who are required to keep them under lock and key with a strict prohibition of sharing them with the public, so buyers would be forced to use a realtor to find out anything about homes for sale. As you can imagine, the black market for MLS books, desired by homeowners wanting an advantage, was intense. In dimly lit parking lots, the clandestine and furtive exchange of MLS books would be the envy of today's street dealers. But my motivation was not to sell homes. It was to sell a neighborhood. While at SMU, I began to recognize that for my neighborhood to be revitalized in Old East Dallas, it was essential to illuminate it and to establish a marketplace for slum landlords to sell to artists and urban pioneers who I knew would take these divided up rent houses and convert them to single-family homes. Thus, I became a real estate agent, but I did not use MLS books. What was I going to do? Put in remarks like, please use wooden fire escape stairs to go through second floor window to see upstairs bedrooms. And beware of the midday corpulent copulating couple in the second bedroom. Realtors in an era of required high heel stocking and poofed hair were not going to be looking at MLS books for a slum-infested property with a commission offering less than selling a Kirby vacuum cleaner. But buyers would respond to a vision and inspiration and an idea that would change the neighborhood and their lives. This vision was a success. Now these historic district homes are renovated, and you can count and compare anything and everything on these and those across the city. But you still cannot click on what's most important: homes that make us happy. Now, some people really love their homes. And when I ask them why, the same characteristics come up over and over. So you think, when we're searching for a home, we would look for characteristics that make us happy. No, we don't. It's human nature. Well, maybe it's not human nature. Maybe we're seduced by data. Or maybe those in high places have programmed us to be pragmatic. Or low places like HGTV have infiltrated our psyche to enthrall us with the latest flame stitch or Gaggenau appliance. We're instead of looking for what makes us happy, we look for a list of amenities or a set of statistics or cosmetic preferences. We look for a number of bedrooms or the best school district or the best neighborhood or a specific style or a 3-car garage. This sounds perfectly reasonable, but have you ever had a friend say to you, we just love our home because it's in a great school district, or because it has 5 bedrooms, or because it costs $187 a square foot. Probably not, but I bet you've heard, we only live in half our house, or there's some rooms we never enter, or we couldn't really find a home we loved in our school district as a reason why they lived in a generic box that serves primarily as a school dormitory for their children. But the rapidly increasing number of charter schools, talent and gifted schools, and magnet schools is a game changer because they can broaden our search for a home. Don't you agree it's better to be in the best school than the best school district? And people who passionately enjoy their home say they live in every room. And I hear this not just from those in small homes, but those with over 10,000 square feet. Good design creates a thrilling space regardless of how it's used. Great spaces that can be transformed are much nicer than a strict hierarchy of rooms with only one prescribed purpose. For instance, I love the design of the home that has a glass double-sided dining room spanning a creek. Lit with candlelight for dinner, it's pure magic. This same dining room also serves as a glass-encased bridge from the garage to the home. And guess where children rush to for their homework? The same serene space looking into nature. But please don't confuse rooms with the potential for many uses with bonus rooms. A bonus room is just a euphemism for leftover space with no real purpose. I recognized, or a bonus room really hit me over the head recently when owners gave me a tour of their 6,000 square foot home nearing completion. I realized I just saw a 5-bedroom, 4.5 bath, 4 bonus room home. I asked, how in the world do you end up with so many bonus rooms? And the homeowners innocently said, well, the floor plan was what was dictated on the first floor, and the bonus rooms were what was left over. And compounding the problem, homes with bonus rooms are usually more susceptible to exaggerated architectural elements just thrown at their surfaces, making them a modern or eclectic caricature of themselves. In contrast, classical proportions can architecturally excite us for years. We need to think about homes differently, not as a list of amenities or a set of statistics or square footage, but as the characteristics that make us happy living in the home every day. Understanding that there are specific characteristics of a home that makes us happy is transformative. Homes change the way we live and feel and can change the human architectural landscape. When a home opens up and relates to a neighborhood, the increased interaction and visual relationship with the neighbors creates a more secure and a happier environment. And even better, the happiness generated in the home and amplified in the neighborhood is contagious and spreads. And as homes globally cross-pollinate, they propel a more humane architecture and a better understanding of people and culture. Villages with tree houses, teepees, sod houses, or simple huts demonstrate how a small core interior space can be liberated by a boundless exterior space where the majority of everyday living takes place. We see this in the Texas modern homes of David Williams and O'Neill Ford. They understood and identified the most magnificent sites for their pioneer-inspired homes. And a magnificent site is more than just a good location. It's what's nearby or in the distance. A meadow, a park, a lake, topography, trails, a dramatic urban landscape. Great sites have vibrancy. Maybe nature's compelling calls of songbirds, or the urban tension of eclectic mix of people. Dynamic settings beg for bridges, balconies, porches, screened-in rooms to push us further into nature and the environment. Here, windows framing great views become our artwork, or the low winter sun raking patterns across the floors and ceilings often generate a smile. We love our homes when it's a private sanctuary and it opens to nature and the neighborhood. We are taught that owning a home is the American dream, but we forget to dream. We all know that America and our culture is founded on the pursuit of happiness, and yet so often happiness is put on the back burner when we build or buy our home, robbing us of the rich experience of living in a home that makes us happy every day. We're told a home is our greatest design decision, and yet a home's design is often reduced to a style or an architectural facade representing how we want to feel. It's like slapping a bumper sticker on a car to reflect our personal or aspirational identity. A Tudor to feel like an aristocrat at Downton Abbey, or a mid-century modern to project the lifestyle of madmen, or a modern to emulate a tech investor or hipster in California. Bumper sticker styles become problematic when our personal taste evolves or trends change. We need to remember that styles come and go, but great design is forever. People love sunlight. Whenever I visit a home an owner really loves, it usually has sight lines into several rooms. And I find it remarkable I can stand in one room and I can usually see sunlight in 3 or 4 different directions. Also, a window box in a small space with a blooming red geranium against the blue sky provides a better view than does a large window looking into a neighbor's garage. An expensive neighborhood does not guarantee a lovely sight, while an inexpensive neighborhood might provide a glorious sight. And I've found people most obsessed with the best neighborhood are often indifferent to the sight, when the worst sight in the best neighborhood rarely creates as much happiness as the best sight in a bad neighborhood. This is probably the reason that derelict neighborhoods become the most fashionable over time. And there's nothing like an improving neighborhood for a homeowner to fall in love with their home all over again. I see homeowners happily enjoying living in a dangerous, dilapidated neighborhood if every day it's getting just a little bit better. And I see unhappy homeowners in an expensive old neighborhood if it's getting a little frayed at the edges or obnoxious homes are being built nearby. Joy is a sound of a better future. Disgruntlement is a sound that's only getting worse. And what I find really fascinating is sometimes the same sound can have a totally opposite effect on people in different neighborhoods. The sound of hammers and saws in a deteriorated neighborhood are like ringing church bells, beckoning people to the neighborhood, while the sound of hammers and saws in an expensive old neighborhood can bring grimaces and gloom at the thought of a massive new 3-story home next door blocking the sunlight, or across the street interrupting the rhythm of the original architect-designed homes. We need to realize these intrusive houses are inspired by builder trade shows. Spec builders do not design homes. They just watch and copy what other spec builders have sold. This causes outmoded, retread, non-design ideas to virally replicate, inundating us with repetitive and bad design. It helps explain why 1960s homes are often clad in asbestos shingles, or why in 2005 so many builder homes included a pattern of Harlequin tile. I've never seen an architect-designed home that did not have some value. But I recall several times where I've walked up to a builder home, I've taken a step inside, and I've turned around to my client and said, "I'm sorry, I can't go any further. I don't want to lower my consciousness." I may have a fragile constitution. Still, we need more architect-designed homes. Everyone loves architect-designed homes. I've noticed as somebody grows up in an architect-designed home, they have an architect design a home someday for themselves. I recall one woman I knew who was raised by her parents in a stately mansion designed by the great architects Otto Lang and Frank Witchell on the grandest boulevard in Dallas. When it came time for her own home, she found a hidden ravine at the end of the street where her architect, James Pratt, designed a modern home where you enter the home from over the ravine on a footbridge to the roof. And then from there, you descended into the living room. Regardless of these being two very different houses, they share what makes us happy. Great design, a strong architectural point of view, a beautiful setting relating to nature and a neighborhood, sight lines for many rooms, sunlight pouring in from many directions, thrilling spaces, pleasing proportions, and many other architectural triumphs and transformations that make us happy. Good locations come and go, but great sites are forever. I think in a few years, we're going to look back like we did MLS books at 2016 with amusement as a time when we were consumed with big data instead of understanding what's most important. Homes that make us happy. We need a revolution. Now is the time to stand up for good design, to applaud good design, and insist on good design for ourselves, our friends, and our community. Thank you.